So for this test, so we left off here yesterday in the two types of cells. We are going to focus right now on eukaryotic cells. We don't really talk about a bacteria cell until we get to the kingdom on bacteria, okay? What you have to know about a bacteria cell so far is it has three things. Who knows what the three things are? Cell membrane. See, if you rewrote your notes last night, cytoplasm and DNA. Good job, Brady. It has those three things, okay? Now, we're going to learn about what all eukaryotic cells have. Now, there's a little bit of variation because eukaryotic cells are protists, fungi, plants, and animals. So there's going to be some variation. So I'm going to teach you specific organelles that are common to most of those organisms, and then we're going to talk about just some variation. So for each cell part or for each organelle, you have to be able to recognize where it is in a cell. You have to be able to recognize what it looks like in a cell, and you have to know the function, okay? Does anybody know what this is? Raise your hand if you could tell me. I'm going to ask this. Who knows what's the main difference between a eukaryotic cell and a prokaryotic cell? The nucleus. So what do you think this is the first organelle I'm going to talk about? Why else do you think the nucleus is the first organelle I'm going to talk about? How important is it? True. Why else? Why is the nucleus the most important organelle? Yes. Because it's the brain of the cell. It's the brain of the cell. Now, if you're a eukaryotic cell, the brain of the cell is the DNA. The DNA controls everything of the cell. In your case, we have DNA inside the nucleus, okay? And that tells the cell what to do. But the brain controls all cell functions. All cell functions. The nucleus, look at the size of the nucleus. What can you say about the size of that organelle in comparison to every other organelle in the cell? It's bigger. Let's add that because I didn't put that. The brain, I'll just put it right here. Largest organelle. Or let's just put large. Because in plant cells, there is a little bit of a variation, and we'll talk about that later. Okay? Now, what else does the nucleus contain besides DNA? Yes. What do we call this genetic material? Chromosomes. Good job. It contains genetic material like DNA and chromosomes. Now, all cells have a cell membrane, all cells have cytoplasm, and all cells have DNA. But the nucleus, which is only in eukaryotic cells, has its own, what is this thing right here? Membrane. Now, don't call it a cell membrane because this is a specific membrane that's for the nucleus. And there's two organelles that have their own membrane, and the nucleus is one of them. Okay? What do you think a membrane does? It protects the nucleus from what? What is a membrane like? In your mind, what is a membrane? Like a wall, okay? Or like a border, okay? It stops things from coming in or out. That's literally the function of a membrane, okay? So a wall you can't open. So know that that's going to be a little different because there is a wall in our cells. All right, second organelle is actually inside the nucleus. Anybody know what it's called? No. Yes. The nucleolus. It is the center part of the nucleus. It's located right in the center of the nucleus. You're going to recognize it because it's going to be a darker center. Okay? If we look at cells under the microscope, because the nucleus and the nucleolus are large and dark, you spot them. Sometimes you see nothing, but you see the nucleus. Okay? Anybody know what the nucleolus does? Yes. Good job. Makes ribosomes. We're going to talk about them. It's another organelle. Anybody know what this is? Yes. It is the endoplasmic reticulum. What do they look like? What does this look like? When you see this, what do you think of? Like a maze. A maze. And what do you do in a maze? You travel through it, okay? So the endoplasmic reticulum, I can't even say that word, is you could put like a maze. You don't have to put tubes. You could put like a maze that transports things throughout the cell. Transports specific chemicals. There's two types of endoplasmic reticulum. What are they? Anybody know? Rough and smooth.